See, Dec, your mind, it is like a gun. And you want to load it up with little itty bitty bullets of knowledge.
Hey yo, what's poppin', man? It's your guy Bo, the Lucky Libra. Thank you for tuning in to another one, alright? And as y'all can see by the title, man, we about to get into this great conjunction, alright, on December 21st when we talking about, you know, Saturn and Jupiter coming together, alright? So I want to get a little in-depth, not a little, a big in-depth analysis on what's going on with these energies for the most part, alright? There's a lot on the internet, and it's easy for us to sink into a lot of what people may be describing the energy to be, okay? People are taking a lot of things that happened the last time we had this type of conjunction and not taking all the other energies at that time into consideration. So we just need to understand the energies we about to be in now. We want to understand the root energy of what Saturn and Jupiter is, period, to even understand what type of energy could be manifested with them being conjunct. Alright, so let's get right into it. First of all, when we talk about, let's talk about what Jupiter, the energy, frequency, vibrations Jupiter and Saturn represent, and then let's talk about what a conjunction is, and then we could start breaking some things down. Alright, so first of all, alright, before we, it's like we've been experiencing energies that's been heavier than what this Jupiter and Saturn conjunction is going to bring. That's not to underestimate anything that's going to arrive with Jupiter and Saturn, but it's like we can't always be in a state of underestimating what we just been through, underestimating the year you just had, underestimating the transformations you're still going through right now. This is just another chapter of everything that's been accumulated. Alright, so make sure all these gems that you done picked up this year, that's not something that's just going, you know, not getting utilized for nothing. And that's a lot of what this whole Jupiter-Saturn conjunction theme is dealing with. How are we going to be able to use our knowledge and wisdom to develop a new reality? Alright, because there is a shift that we're experiencing at the moment. Alright, now when we talk about Jupiter, alright, when we talk about Jupiter, Jupiter's a big gassy energy. It brings expansion. Alright, when we talk about Jupiter energy, we're talking about straight subconscious energies, straight spiritual abstract energy. Alright, Jupiter's not necessarily relating to things in a physical reality. Okay, it's more so putting us in experiences in the physical reality to develop more of a subconscious feel of how we're navigating this lifetime. Jupiter, this is why your Jupiter placements tap people into their spirituality all the time, because ultimately when we talk about spirituality is being able to learn from your experiences. Alright, so a person that never got a reading, I say this a lot, a person that never got a reading, never got a tarot reading, if this is a person that's able to look at the things they experience in their life, look at the patterns in their relationships, and correlate these to see how they could grow from them, and they could bring some expansion to their awareness about things in their life. That's spirituality. That's you understanding part of why you even here, part of what's your purpose, part of what's here to learn, part of what karmic lessons you have to deal with. That's what Jupiter does in your natal chart. All right, so Jupiter stays in the sign for about a year. Okay, but when we look at where Jupiter's at in your natal chart, you guys got to understand that's an area of life that you're going to be learning a lot in this lifetime. That's an area of life that you already incarnated with some wisdom in that area of life. So you subconsciously came with some energies to already pass certain tests first go rounds. Alright? So it's not like Jupiter just be throwing you in the fire. Nah, it's not even like that. You came here with some subconscious energies to even have wisdom in that area. But you here to constantly expand. Not just where Jupiter is at, but in all levels, in life, period. Alright? We're not here to be complacent spirits. And when we talk about Jupiter representing expansion, when we talk about conjunctions, we now know Jupiter places you in experiences to develop certain wisdom. Okay, and another thing is a lot of astrologers gonna talk about like chin. A lot of astrologers gonna say, you know, Jupiter bears gifts and Jupiter's bring benefits and blessings. And some of y'all be looking at y'all Jupiter placement and be like, what the fuck? I be struggling in this area. Like, I be going through all type of shit in this area. Like, yeah, because you're going through experiences for you to learn certain things. But if you're not picking that up, like the analogy I just made of the person that never got a reading before, but they're able to reflect on their experiences to pick out gems to see what that experience is and how they could apply it to their character and grow from that. You know, if a person not doing that, now Jupiter is putting you in tougher lessons. Now Jupiter lessons, they hitting a little harder because you're not being able to see what the fuck going on. All right, so that's how Jupiter's bringing blessings. Jupiter's bringing blessings through how you're gaining spiritually where Jupiter's at, how you're expanding spiritually where Jupiter is at. All right. So wherever Jupiter's at in your natal chart, this is an area of life that you need to be able to have some wisdom to give to others from there. There's need to be some experiences and things in that life you should be able to enlighten others on wherever your Jupiter's at. So that's the Jupiter energy. Now let's move on to Saturn. When we talk about Saturn energy, you know, Saturn represents restrictions, boundaries, all right? Organization, structure. It doesn't reflect light. When we think about light, we could think about ideas, creativity, visions. Okay, so Saturn can only even deal with that if it's getting used in some type of way, but for the most part it don't reflect it. So even if we looking at Aquarius and Capricorns that's ruled by Saturn, a lot of times they could be real deflective and to shit that they can't build with. All right, they might not even respond to certain shit. They can have a reserved type of aura. All right, now when we look at Saturn, you know, the frequency vibration of Saturn is a sense of stability, a sense of structure, a sense of foundation. It wants to use things, it wants to build. All right, Saturn represents how we see our reality. Whatever Saturn's at in your chart, this is the area of life of how you somewhat see reality and see how you should be bringing structure to your life in some type of shape or form. All right, wherever you have Saturn at, that's a house that needs to get structured and organized in its lifetime as well. So keep that in mind. All right, now, so if Jupiter is how we learn in our experiences and we know it brings expansion, okay, and then Saturn is how we see reality, how we build structure, all right, how we experience restrictions and limitations and certain boundaries in our life, and also how we place them in the right places in order to do things accordingly in an organized way, step by step, not taking shortcuts, building. All right, if that's Saturn energy, what exactly happens when planets are conjunct? When we look at conjunctions, you want to look at this as two planets sharing the same space. All right, so Jupiter and Saturn gonna be sharing the same space. Now when they're sharing the same space, all right, these two planets are basically a tag team at this point. All right, they working together. So you could look at it as a tag team. You could look at it as two stars working as one star. For all the planets that you got conjunct in your chart, you guys could look at my video that I posted about sun and moon conjunctions. All right, we're gonna talk more about aspects. Y'all subscribe to the Patreon and all that, because that's where we dive deep on a lot of them things. But for the most part, you know, when we talk about conjunctions, for y'all to have conjunctions in your chart, you need to make sure you're looking at your conjunctions and understanding that these are two planets working as one. So you want to look at it as your power, okay? But depending on what two planets they are, before we even talk about depending on what two planets they are, conjunctions can always start beefing. All right, two tag teams can always start, you know, not being able to see things eye to eye and start clashing. So these energies can also play out as squares and oppositions. And like I was about to say, depending on what planets they are, you know, if it's two planets that don't necessarily, the natural frequency vibrations don't even align like that, this is a conjunction you got to make sure you keep an eye out in your chart, because they're more prone to clash and play out as squares and oppositions than other planets. And these are all things, and you got to look at all these things in in a sense of polarity, on a light and dark spectrum. Like, you got to be able to know, like, with conjunctions, these, yeah, they're your powers, but your powers can also be your detriment. Yeah, your sextiles and trines are more your positive alignments, all right, harmonious alignments, but they could play out detriments too, okay? Yeah, your squares and oppositions are your lessons, things you gotta learn, friction, okay? But there's so much to grow and blossom out of these energies. But when we talk about conjunction, that's necessarily the energy that's playing out. So you want to be aware of the conjunctions of your chart, be aware of your powers, all right? Make sure your powers stay in alignment, okay? Because if you got a conjunction like Moon and Mars, like the Moon and Mars, so the Moon represents your feelings and emotions, your natural emotional state, how you react and respond to the world you live in, all right? What makes you feel the most comfortable, all right, is the closest thing to your goddamn spirit. So for the most part, if you put Mars there, okay, Mars is a real passionate energy, okay? It's a very direct energy. It doesn't want to compromise, okay? It wants to act and it sees things the way it sees things, all right? Wants to act on the way it sees things. It wants to set personal intentions, all right? So on the positive side, you're gonna have somebody that's naturally motivated. You're gonna have somebody that got a motherfucking internal fire within them. You're gonna have somebody with a lot of willpower, a lot of charge towards their passions and goals or things that light them up, all right? You're gonna have somebody that can get real focused and dialed in on the things that they that they're passionate about and certain goals and they set intentions on. On the flip side, this person may deal with some experiences, learning to have more self-control of the feelings and emotions, because they got so much goddamn passion and that fiery upbeat temperament by their moon, all right? So it's not always easy to just put Mars on chill, all right? You guys could look at the moon as the mother, and Mars being, the first son that's real active, all right? And let's say the dad is, when the son is not always around, dad is always not around, you don't have the right energy to discipline it the right way. Or when you're in the store, the mom's always trying to, like, you don't even know what aisle Mars in. Mars is just seeing and touching and feeling what experiencing what's going on in the store. He's just real direct about seeing what he want to put in the car. So yeah, so Mars, he's just flying around. By the time she get into the register or whatnot, motherfucking manager holding Mars up by his shit, like, ma'am, is this your son? Yeah, he was in the stock room. Yeah, we caught him stealing Mars stealing shit in the stock room. So it's like, it's that type of energy. You'll have a person that, they could have a real selfish intent at times, all right? They could be in a state where it's hard for them to compromise their feelings and emotions with certain people around their environment. May not think about people around their environment a lot of the time because they're so direct and passionate about what they want when they want it. So there's a positive and negative to all type of energies that we could talk about, all right? In life, in astrology, period. That's just how it is. That's just nature. That's just spiritual nature, bro. All right? So when we talk about conjunctions, that's ultimately the energies that's going to come with a conjunction. Now we have Jupiter and Saturn, all right, coming together in this conjunction, all right? Now, the way we want to look at this, we want to look at this as a time where we're going to have to take our knowledge and wisdom and make something out of that motherfucker. This is a time where we're supposed to take the things that we done experienced, our philosophies, the perspectives, the way we look at life, the things we know about life, everything that you've accumulated in this personal experience. How can that wisdom be some type of structure for you right now? How can that turn into a form of stability? How can that cultivate your reality and become a foundation for you? How can your creative attributes, all right, and your natural spiritual gifts be something that's a foundation for you? Because when we look at this energy, once again, we've been in a transformation the whole year. We've been in a transformation the whole year. All right? We've been having heavy energies in Capricorn the whole year, coming into the year since Pluto and Saturn got here. All right? I am a Capricorn rising. So motherfucking Capricorn risings, we done felt this shit. We experienced real life personal transformation way before any motherfucking COVID. Way before any motherfucking COVID. Alright? So for Capricorn rising, not even to just make this about us or me, but to be honest with you, when COVID and all this shit started going on, we was already in the state of trying to find some fucking personal transformation. So with all this shit going on, it's just like, oh, alright, now the rest of the world is on the boat now. Alright, trying to find new ways to provide stability, new business. Business is going up and down this motherfucking year. Alright? Our social structure has been transformed in all different type of ways this year. Has been so flip-floppy, so up and down this year. There's nothing in society that you can truly depend on right now. Alright? And if you haven't realized that this year, then you in La La Land. Okay? So, you know, the theme with this energy, ultimately, this is a time where we all need to learn how to provide stability and structure in our lives with our own spiritual gifts right now. This is what universe is influencing, because this next shift, that we're going through right now, this transformation we going through right now, all right, that's what you're gonna have to depend on at this time. Cause, you know, I don't try to act like I can foresee everything, but it's like you ain't got to be in astrology to understand the world's changing. I don't think you got to be in astrology to understand the world changing right now. When you start watching astrology, when you sub to my channel and all that, then you're going to start being able to put puzzle pieces together, alright? When you start watching all my, you know, fellow brothers and sisters that's giving the spiritual game and helping enlighten others and build community up and awaken the world, that's when you're gonna be able to put some puzzle pieces together. But subconsciously, you feel the transformation of the world right now. All right, and there's gonna be more. This shift is gonna propel when we get to December 21st. All right, so I got some bullets, and I just want to get through these real quick. So, family. This is us learning to align our wisdom with our reality, okay? There's going to be an increase in spiritual... There's going to be an increase in spiritual practices being broadcasted and more people shifting towards online business and marketing online and influencer type of roles, alright? Everything right now, the past couple of years, has been an internet shift, alright? So for the most part, us being able to keep up with the times, but also being able to utilize technology and all that to broadcast our spiritual gifts, to broadcast our creative attributes, that has to be the intent with these things. Because we're in a state right now that we're going to be, a lot of the things that's in our reality are just going to be cultivated in a way just to keep us more programmed right now. So if you don't have some knowledge and wisdom for yourself to depend on, if you're not looking within to see what you have to be something you could stand on and provide for yourself, going into 2021 is gonna be it's gonna be so easy to fall into certain programs or certain things you're gonna feel like you have to do in this new age, in this new world. All right, now something I see, I feel like I believe there's gonna be, you know, gradual, from this point on, you're going to continue to see more gradual shifts with how we deal with currency, okay, and forms of communication online, period. Prepare for them shifts, prepare for certain things to be taken away from us, because Saturn deals with restrictions, limitations, and boundaries. So when it comes to certain ways we want to exchange things, when it comes to resources, material resources, all right, and just ultimately forms of communication, because it's an Aquarius, all right, it's an Aquarius. Aquarius, before we continue to dig deep, Aquarius is fixed air ruled by Saturn, all right, co-ruled by Uranus. So air deals with logic, communication, the intellect, all right, the exchange of the intellect, thoughts, ideas. Saturn makes that form of intellect more practical, more individual, more detached, all right, more structured, and it's fixed, so they could be consistent with the way that they think, like the way they think. And then Uranus, the Uranus energy can be a real impulsive, erratic energy. It represents individuality and uniqueness, which also brings in, you know, a rebellious energy, an energy that's going to manifest power and control issues, trying to gain that power and individuality. All right, so these are the energies that are influencing Aquarius. So Saturn and Jupiter, it's time to have a fixed way of thinking about how you're utilizing your wisdom or your creative attributes or your forms of spirituality to provide some structure and foundation in your life. We're walking into a new reality, so we have to be able to bring our uniqueness and our individuality to support our goddamn selves. Point blank, period. All right, and these are things, but it's like the universe works in mysterious ways. All right, if you're somebody that consistently keeps up with the transits, you'll understand that. You'll see how one transit can affect another and set you up and prepare you for another transit. Like this whole year, if you've been in a state of trying to bring transformation to how you broadcast yourself, to your forms of stability, the world was naturally going through these things. But if you were in a state of personally doing these things, all right, by the time we get to Jupiter conjunct Saturn, you accumulated so much to help you continue to build stability or foundation in an individual way, all right, through your natural talents, through the things you came into this world with, all right, which is what we're supposed to be here doing anyways. But you know, we're all type of programs in the world, all type of indoctrinations, all type of things we taught. So it's like we have to learn to delete so many programs before we even get back to, you know, tapping into who we are. All right, and this is why we're on the journey of learning ourselves in the first place, of knowing ourselves in the first place. All right, so we can tap into these gifts easier. All right. Now, you know, people are gonna want to break free and expand. Damn, I don't know. I got the mush mouth today. People are gonna want to break free and expand from their current career and routine right now. All right. So Saturn represents how we see reality. Saturn represents how we see structure in our life. So however you see career right now, however you see it is a form of stability, there's going to be a sense of wanting to expand on this. A sense of wanting more, especially when it comes to you gaining more clarity about what you feel like you can bring to the world, what you can bring out your subconscious and cultivate to create something for you to provide for yourself right now. All right. The new moon in Sagittarius was already influencing this type of energy, especially if you had it transit in a Earth house. So if you got Sagittarius in the Earth house, you definitely need to be in a frequency vibration of learning how to cultivate, you know, more stability in your life from how you express yourself or whatnot. But we actually was all under that influence with the new moon in Sagittarius. All right. You know, wanting to expand our horizons, surroundings more. All right, wanting to jump into more experiences that we may have been neglecting ourselves from. So a lot of that energy is about to shift into career, but this whole year was already was influencing a bunch of energies, influencing us to, you know, tackle our individuality. Mars in Aries. All right. We came into the year with Pluto and Saturn and Capricorn, so it's like we already knew the structure was going to be transformed in some type of shape or form. We knew society, the way we see it, was going to be transformed in some type of shape or form. Mars was transiting Capricorn, so it's just like we went through a lot of energies in the past year and a half to show us that we was going through some type of shift. And now, whatever we've accumulated from that, these have to be the things that we could. New moon in Sagittarius was us developing new philosophies and new belief systems by the things we've experienced. So we're already in a state of doing that. But now we have to be able to see, all right, what from these experiences can I add on to how I was trying to push out my passions or push out my creative attributes into the world. All right, how can I expand on that? What resources do I have for that? Like, we gotta get pinpointed right now. We gotta get pinpointed. Like, we gotta make, like, if you're not in the career you want to be in right now, like, you gotta really truly tap into what you're willing to sacrifice, what you're willing to invest in right now to build off of what you know that you're good at, what you know your talents are. All right. what you know your creative attributes are. This is the time to put a price on your what you came here naturally with, instead of putting restrictions on what you could be doing in the world, building somebody else's dream. Like, that's dead right now. You may not, we in a shift right now, you may not even have the opportunity to go work for somebody else's dream, build somebody else's dream. It's like, universe is like, nah, motherfucker, it's time for you to bring that out and stand on that right now. It's that type of energy, all right? Now, I don't want to get super detailed as of what's going to manifest on a social structure type of level, but you just have to look how things been aligning, look going into this Aquarius energy. All right? Just look at the past year with Saturn and Capricorn. So now that it's going to Aquarius, best believe some things are about to be communicated to us. Like we always dealing with, when we talk about, you know, shadow government, so the motherfucking government period, secret society families and all that. These motherfuckers is always trying to find ways, they just thirsty for power, always trying to find ways to, you know, work energies to work in their favor. But so for the most part, shit is always going on behind the scenes, period, no matter what transits is going on. But when we talking about Aquarius, best believe some things is going to be communicated on the social level that we all going to be having, we all going to comprehend, like, okay, we can see the restriction, limitation, boundary they about to place, or we can see what they trying to take away from us at this point. We can see how spiritually we need to tap into what we're naturally good at, what we came here to do, because there's, all right, we can't depend on any resources at this point from these motherfuckers. That type of energy, family. So that's what we want to understand. Now, you know, maybe some new regulations and restrictions on social media, especially when we're dealing with password security and all that. It may be like all that shit is getting super emphasized. It's like right now, even like, it's like you gotta have motherfucking good credit, good, everything gotta be legit. Niggas, cash ain't shit anymore, alright? So if you ain't being smart and wise about your business right now, if you ain't being wise about the reality of your life and how you're structuring it right now, best believe Saturn is, remember, tag team. Saturn and Jupiter, tag team. So Saturn looking at Jupiter, like, all right, Jupiter, what knowledge and wisdom you got that I'm about to build with, that I'm about to use? Jupiter looking at Saturn like, I got the knowledge and wisdom for you, all right? What business, how do you see, what forms of, what ways do you see reality? What structure have you established in this lifetime that I'm about to expand on? The more you can, the more you can personally help your Saturn and Jupiter to do that for each other, the more you're going to be able to thrive through this transformation. If you've been watching me, you understand that I'm a heavy advocate for you understanding that regardless of the world we in, the quality of your thoughts, the way you think, the way you deal with your emotional state, the way you react to the world is what develops the world you live in, all right? We all live in our own world. And depending on how we're utilizing our wisdom and putting that in the right pockets, all right, and getting Saturn and Jupiter to help each other like that is how we're going to see growth. Okay, as transformative as this year has been a great year for a lot of people, hasn't it? This year has been a great year for a lot of people, hasn't it? Perspective, family. So when we get into more of these spiritual energies, this is us all being able to understand how to take our spiritual power, all right? How to not fall into the influences of what's going on in the world. We always have the power to develop our own reality, all right? And this is what our Jupiter is this is what Jupiter is going to be influencing us to do, all right? To expand on the knowledge and wisdom that you have about that. And Saturn is here to see how it's going to build on that. Point blank, period. Now, let's just get into some aspects that's going to be hitting this energy December 21st. First of all, it's going to be sextile in the moon. All right, we know sextiles are positive alignment. All right, these energies are complementing each other, and is more so we could perceive it as a gift. So during this time, we're all going to have the gift to react and respond to the wisdom we gained about career and stability. So we all going to be in a state of understanding and subconsciously picking up on the feel of the direction we should be planting seeds or continuing to encourage and work on in order to grow our stability right now. It's not like we're going to be spiritually lost in the air. A lot of us already started. I got a setting on my camera that keep cutting off at a certain time, so I gotta figure out what that is. But for the most part, you know, a lot of us already started implementing these things, all right? A lot of us are catching on the subconscious field trying to make that transition, but as we get closer to this time, we're going to be subconsciously knowing what these things are, what direction we should be taking with our creative attributes, what we're good at, what our true talents and traits are at, what Jupiter's been placing us in a lot of experiences for us to learn and understand about ourselves and how we can use that. Okay? So with the moon reacting to it, the moon is our emotional state, and we know any type of alignment with the moon gonna deal with reaction. So if you got a lot of squares to your moon or whatever squares you have to your moon, understand this is an energy in this lifetime you got to learn to react to. All right, if you got oppositions, this is to your moon, this is an energy you got to learn to react to when opposites exchange. All right, if you got trines, you got you create opportunities to react to a certain energy. If you got sextiles, you have the gift to react to a certain energy. All right, so with the moon sextiling this energy on December 21st, and to be specific, all right, the moon is going to be transiting Pisces. Okay, by that time it's going to be the sextile alignment is going to hit. You know, it's gonna be there when it gets into Aries, but based off degrees, you know, it's gonna be still there by the time it's in Pisces. All right, so in Pisces, and what does Pisces represent? Our subconscious, our creativity, our dreams, our imagination. How these are the things you gonna subconsciously pick up on, like, nah, it's time to use this shit. It's time for me to find practical Saturn ways to invest Saturn into this, to make it solid Saturn, to make it real Saturn. Because I know Jupiter, because I have wisdom about this. Jupiter, because I've been experiencing this. Or I've been subconsciously influenced to push this out. Or universe been manifesting experiences in my life where people, places, and things, or I manifested certain situations for the external realm to let me know I'm good at something, to let me know I have a gift, to let me know I have a certain creative attribute, and trying to encourage me to push this out some more because I may be able to build something from it. These are the things we can't run away from and neglect no more. All right? And if you're in a state of neglecting these things moving on, then that's going to be more resistance towards this influence and this transformation we're going through right now. All right. Now this energy is going to be squaring Uranus and Taurus. Okay. So this is learning to create learning to push out our individuality within our new reality. All right. Oh, it almost sounded like I said that word twice because they rhyme. Learning to push out our individuality within our new reality. So for the most part, all right, Uranus is already, like, Uranus is a heavy ass energy in Taurus. Like, that energy was heavy as hell too. That shit heavy as hell because Uranus deal with, you know, transformation, trying to gain power and control, and gains and push, and how you're trying to be seen as an individuality and how you cultivate your individuality. And sometimes that's not the easiest thing for us to do in the environments or with the relationships that we may be you know, participating in. So for the most part, with that energy in Taurus, our values were being transformed, our forms of stability is more of an influence of our forms of stability and career, and our reality being transformed because it's Earth. Earth is always going to correlate to our reality and what we have, our possessions. You mean to tell me you can't easily see in the world how people possessions and what they have and what they value been transformed this past year and a half? Like, you can't tell me you can't seen that? You haven't seen that? You telling me you don't have a friend that experienced that if you haven't? A relative? So family, these are the energies we're dealing with. So now that it's a square. So it's a square. This is the energy we're gonna have to learn. We gotta have to make sure Saturn and Jupiter conjunct and Uranus. We have to make sure these energies get along. AKA the ways that we're trying to gain individuality through these new values and the transformations we're going through in career and with our stability already. All of that is what Uranus is going through to make us more of an individual right now with Uranus and Taurus. How does that energy gonna be able to support our new philosophies, our new perspectives and belief systems about how we're gonna cultivate our stability and reality? How can that? Because this Uranus and Taurus energy been in here. So to a degree, we already experienced. Everybody's been having to learn how to become more of an individual through how they push out their values or express their values to the world. So how is that energy going to support your new philosophy, your new forms of stability? That's what we got to make sure these energies learn from each other with squaring Uranus. All right. And this is going to be the energy that's also going to make us feel more intense about pushing these energies out. Because anything dealing with Uranus is going to feel intense. Anything about Uranus is going to make us, can also influence some impulsive type actions. All right. So we got to be very conscious of how practical we're going to cultivate our creativity at the same time. Because it can be a very intense energy that could just feel like your back is against the wall at this time. All right. So you don't want to overwhelm yourself, but we do want to be aligned with the times, so we don't become more overwhelmed with or be in an overwhelmed state. Period. Because we're not doing the work and personally transforming ourselves before these type of alignments arrive. All right, family. And then this is going to be squaring Mars and Aries. This is going to be squaring Mars and Aries, all right? So with Mars and Aries, the theme of Mars and Aries was giving birth to new passions. We know Aries is the first, all right? We know it's that cardinal fire energy, having a new way of seeing and feeling and dealing with your visions, all right? How we set intentions with our passions, how we personally express our personal outlook to the world. So with Mars getting here, this is his home state. And whenever we're home, this is the energy we're comfortable with. So we all should be in a state of being comfortable with our passions right now. We all should be in a state of being comfortable with our passions right now. This energy been in here since earlier this year, all right? Since like late spring, I believe. All right, late spring, early summer. I think Mars got into Aries. All right, mistake me if I'm wrong. All right, it might be even mid-summertime. All right, but because I know it went retrograde, yeah, so I'm gonna say late spring. I would have to go back and look, but for the most part, when we look at I don't want to get flagged. I hope that song ain't flagged me. But when we look at the square to Mars, we all want to be in a state of being comfortable, of giving birth to our new passions. So we got a couple of months to do that if we really haven't set intentions on these things before Mars get into Taurus. Because when Mars get into Taurus, that's more so about us being already fixated, and we not trying to plant the seed. We just coming out and watering the seed. We already in motion with our passions. If you haven't gave birth to new creative attributes and new passions and visions you always subconsciously catch of things you should be doing, with Mars and Aries, Mars and Taurus is going to be more frustration built trying to implement new things. All right, so us with this energy squaring Mars, this is more of an emphasis of us having to learn to align our passions and set individual intentions on how we about to utilize our wisdom to build this new reality. Add on to what we doing career wise, add on to how we structure things in our life, and build more organization for ourselves. All right, everything about Mars and Aries screams individuality. Everything about it. Okay, so it having to learn it running into Jupiter and Saturn right now and having to be like, oh man, I got to deal with y'all right now. Like, all right, how we about to help each other? Okay, what wisdom and knowledge, Jupiter, you got for me, and Saturn? What forms of reality do you have for me to add on to the passions that I gave birth to in Aries? And Jupiter and Saturn seeing how to take that passion and individuality, Mars, that we have with Mars and Aries, and how they could, you know, use that shit to propel and set more of an intention and initiative on what it is we creating here with this new shift. All right, the world is going to be transforming because these are natural alignments, but how are we going to use these energies to bring personal transformation for ourselves? And that's how we're going to be able to use these energies. Square, sextile, opposite, doesn't even matter. If they align it, there's going to be a way for us to use and learn and expand from it in some type of shape or form. All right, family? All right, y'all. Let's get into how this energy may influence you based off of your sun sign. Okay, let's get right into it. Now, my Aries, this is a time for you guys to be more wise about how you attack your passions and how you see reality. All right, this is still playing out like somewhat of a square alignment for you guys. Okay, remember, we're gonna have you guys, Mars that's in Aries is gonna be squaring this energy. So Mars is your ruling planet and it's home. It's comfortable at home right now. So you guys are examples of how we should be comfortable with our passions, all right, especially if you have Mars in Aries. But at the same time, this is you learning to be more wise, because you like to, you know, Aries, you guys like to dive headfirst into the things that you're passionate and you want to take an initiative on, and the things you want to manifest. All right, you guys could dive headfirst into these things. So now it's seeing the wisdom that's been accumulated from all the experiences, diving headfirst into things, or just from the things that you have experienced from dealing with your creative expression. All right, and how you take action on your personal outlook on things. This energy is going to be what helps you to align and see bigger, broader perspectives of how you could utilize your personal creative expression. All right, your creative attributes and the ways you deal with creativity, period, because you fire, okay, to stabilize something. Okay, now Taurus, this is learning to be more expressive of your wisdom, dealing with your values. So you guys deal with your value system, and you're real conscious about the people, places, and things that you connect to understand how these things are playing out as a support system. These are the things that's weighing on the Taurus mind a lot. So right now, especially with all the transformation you Tauruses are going through right now with Uranus and Taurus, all right? I know you guys going through a whole bunch of personal transformation this past year and a half, 2 years. So right now is using the wisdom from a lot of them transformations and all experiences with you connecting to people, places, and things that you valued, whether it was a positive or negative experience. How are you going to be able to cultivate that to build this new reality for you, Taurus, all right? These are going to be the influences the universe is going to try to be, you know, compelling you to utilize in order to build something, all right? And this is also going to be a period where you're going to begin to look at the things that you value from a bigger, broader perspective, all right? Now, Gemini, opportunities to utilize your wisdom about communication and relationships to build a new reality, okay? Now, this is, you guys are air. This conjunction is starting in air, so you guys are already dealing with relatability. Being able to connect and relate and communicate our wisdom, all right, is something that we all gonna have to get with right now, okay? So you being air, you already gravitate towards that energy, but now you're gonna have to apply the wisdom from things that you guys learn from communicating and relationships on all levels, especially with the new moon reading that I did with the new moon in Sagittarius. That was a 180 energy to you guys. So I was just saying in that reading, you guys gotta be more expressive. You guys gotta be more wise about how you're applying your wisdom, period, on the things that you're dealing with relationships. This past year, I said you guys experienced a lot with relationships. You guys learned a whole lot about yourselves based off of how you've been communicating with others. So right now, how is that going to help you build stability? Because we are in the age of understanding how to work our relationships, or how our relationships are supportive to what we're doing. connecting with our soul tribe, being with people that's supportive of the things that we want to act on in our passions, goals, all right, our aspirations. So right now, Geminis, you guys have a lot of wisdom on that, and that needs to be applied to whatever you're doing, work that you're trying to build stability on, okay? And you got to be able to make sure you surround yourself with the right people to help you cultivate these things. Now, Cancer, all right? Cancer, this is being more practical and realistic about how you utilize your wisdom and creative attributes, all right? Now, you guys, you know, you ruled by the moon, okay? You're water, so you're more so reacting or responding to how you feel about things before you creatively express anything, before you act on anything, before you initiate anything. You got to weigh your emotions first. Right now, you guys got to be in a state of embracing, expressing the things that you got inside, the subconscious creative energies y'all got. Cancers, y'all some of the most creative signs. And the thing about y'all also have a Jupiter influence. Jupiter's exalted in Cancer. So when a planet is exalted, this is like at its highest peak, its strongest location. So this is also an energy you can overdo and exhaust. So a lot of Cancers can, you know, either be superstitious or put a whole lot of meaning and reasoning and try to dissect a spiritual concept to something or what something means and go a little too deep in it. But for the most part, right now, you guys even having that Jupiterian influence, you guys got to be able to cultivate that with your creative gifts, your creative attributes, and be able to embrace expressing that more to the world and see how that could cultivate more of a reality for you. All right, Cancer? Now, oh, and you guys have to embrace connecting and relating your creativity. Okay, that was another one. Now, Leos, making your creativity solid and learning to be an example through your action. Now, this energy is opposite to you, Leo, okay? And whenever it's opposites, we know it's going to clash. We want to make sure it's a positive clash. When these energies come and have something to teach each other, complement each other, it has to be a give and exchange for it to be a healthy, you know, opposite alignment. So for you guys are already dealing with creative expression, but now it's being more practical about how you deal with that, how you mold that, how you cultivate that, how you make it a business, how you make it a foundation, how you make it solid, how you make it concrete. All right, you guys are wiser. You guys are some of the wisest zodiac signs as well. You guys are ruled by the sun. You bring a lot of awareness and you enlighten a lot of other people based off how you deal with your creative attributes and how y'all express yourselves, how y'all express your thoughts, ideas, and visions, and how y'all see things. So for the most part, it's time to build be more of a realistic example through your actions and how you express yourself of how we could create stability through these things, all right? And it's going to be a whole 180 opposite angle for you with this influence moving on. So universe is going to be actively trying to get you guys to understand that your creative substance needs to be utilized and be made into reality. It needs to be some type of substance, something you could depend on, some type of foundation, all right? More than just the thrill of experiencing it or just expressing it, okay? Now, Virgos, this is a time to have more belief in your wisdom about structure and a time to experiment more with your creativity, okay? Now, when I say experiment, you guys experiment with your creativity, but I'm talking about experiment as far as expressing it, all right? Actually pushing it out, experimenting in that way, seeing what works, seeing what was receptive, seeing how you can learn more about your creative attributes, your passions, what you're working on, your creative gifts by seeing how it's even implemented in the external realm. At times, we could be so focused on stage one of things, all right, and this applies to Virgos, but spiritual gem for all of us. At times, we can be so applied to things. I mean, we could be so attached to like stage one, making sure things come out a certain way, not understanding that once we express stage one, there's gonna be certain things we wasn't able to see stage one that we see stage two, stage three, stage four. But it takes us to walk that journey. Virgos, you guys have to have more belief in the creative gifts you have. It's time to express that. It's time to mold that. You guys understand structure, but let's gain more experience dealing with the expression and the ways that you gain more experience or create experiences expressing or cultivating these things or taking action on these things. All right, Virgos? Now, Libra. Opportunities to relate your wisdom and build more structured relationships. Air sign. So you guys already relating to the air communication relatability energy of this influence. However, you guys are dealing with one-on-one relationships and how you connect to others on a one-on-one level. You guys also have a Saturn influence. Saturn is exalted in Libras. So a lot of Libras could look at their relationships, you know, Libras could materialize people, and they could look at their relationships just as, you know, in a real Capricornish way a little bit as well, like which one of these relationships can I use and build with and utilize, and it could come off a little bit so direct in how they try to work through others. All right, but for the most part, you're gonna gain more wisdom about the relationships that you've been connecting to that actually have some resources, stability to help you create a new reality with the things that you're working on and connecting to. And this can be on all type of levels, all type of one-on-one relationships, intimate, romantic, family, sibling. You guys are just gonna be gaining more of a broader perspective of seeing how these relationships play a part, and it's gonna help you gain more wisdom and clarity, all right, how you could relate and connect what you're creatively into, what you're working on, Libras. All right, now Scorpios. All right, Scorpios, this is, you know, learning to connect and relate your individual passions, and also being more practical about how you deal with your creativity and wisdom. So you guys are super creative as well. There's so much substance to a Scorpio, especially with the things that you guys experience, the things that you guys pick up behind the scenes that you don't express, that we don't know. So there's so much depth to y'all. All right, now right now you guys are going to be in a space with this type of energy because this is a square. All right, it's fix. Aquarius is the fixed way of thinking, communicating. Scorpio is the fixed way of dealing with the feelings and emotions and relating the feelings and emotions. All right, so not only are you guys gonna have to embrace that connection, that relatability aspect to that substance and all that depth and creativity you have, you guys are gonna have to be more practical. All right, more practical, not get so sunk into the emotions, how you feel about things. Be more practical, all right, about how you put your passions and creativity in some type of container, how your relationships on a practical level support your passions and your deep desires and the things you want to express and cultivate into the world, or also the things that you want to express to the world or cultivate as a new reality. All right, god dang camera, man. Goddamn camera cut off in the middle of my thing, man. All right, Sagittarius. All right, Sagittarius. This is expressing and connecting your creativity and wisdom in a more practical way. So you guys already have that Jupiterian influence. You got that creativity flair to you. All right, you got the ability to enlighten others and share and, you know, match your creativity with others. The wisdom aspect is here with Jupiter, but it's more so being more practical now about how that spontaneous creative energy gets into some type of formula, into some type of container, to be a practical way to be directed to others, to start building a new foundation, a new reality in your life with the way you deal with your knowledge and wisdom. So you guys are real enlightening, inspiring, but now it's time to see, okay, I got all this knowledge and wisdom. How do I put this in some type of, you know, practical container, or develop some type of method or strategy for me to utilize this creativity in some type of shape or form where I could continue to be expressive and creative the way I want to, but I'm making something out of it. All right, something physical in this physical reality is being stabilized out of this. All right, this is the mindset you got Sagittarius want to have right now with this influence. All right, now Capricorn, this is developing wiser and creative ways to connect and relate what you're working on, what you're structured. Okay, Capricorn. So we know Capricorns, by default, by nature, having that archetype being born out the, you know, the 10th house and whatnot, you guys already seeing what you can organize, put together to help you get from point A to B, to build some foundation and stability in your life. Your social status and how you're presented, how you're seen to the world, these things is high priority to you, and you guys could feel real stressed and frustrated when these things are not in alignment. So right now, it's time for you to, all that wisdom that you've accumulated from how you work on things, is being able to see how that could be applied, how more creativity could be applied to what you're working on, but also being able to be more wise about the relationships and how you're correlating these things, correlating your relationships based off what you're trying to build. All right, being more wise about who you connect to build. All right, and structure things. And overall, you know, when we talk about Jupiter, Jupiter represents your knowledge and wisdom, but it's also a creative essence. So Capricorn, this is a time to, you know, try to utilize more new different creative ways in the things that you're building structure. Experiment new creative things as well. So Capricorns, yeah, y'all want to, you know, get more loose and flexible with different things that you try to add on to what you're working on, just to see, you know, what results develop on that. But you know, you guys already pretty much, you know, subconsciously be set on building some type of reality. Saturn influence here, but now we need to pour some Jupiter in there. We need to expand in a more subconscious way and what we can add on to these things. Aquarius, okay, making your personal wisdom count for something. All right, Aquarius, making your personal wisdom count for something. When I say count for something, Aquarius, with this influence, you know, beginning in your constellation, you guys have to be the example of how your wisdom and how you utilize your intellect, your ways of relating, your individuality, and what makes you unique. We need to be able to point and see what you built off that. We need to be able to point and see what you're building, what you're structuring, what associations and organizations you're being able to, you know, relate to, or, you know, expand your individual concepts. Well, we need to be able to point to that, Aquariuses, and y'all gonna be the example. All right, Aquariuses, but this is also going to influence y'all to take y'all personal advice, take y'all personal wisdom, and expand it a lot, because y'all are good for giving other people individual ways to act and construct and work on things as air. All right, wants to communicate, relatable, but has a real individual and unique way of doing these things with the Saturn and Uranus influence. However, you know, with Jupiter here, it's time to be see how you can expand on them things. All right, expand the reality that you try to associate, you try to, you know, make sure you're relating to people that have mutual interest in these type of ways with the things that you're trying to creatively express or work on. So, you know, Aquarius, it's time for y'all to embrace, in a way, making sure that people understand we know what y'all know. Because sometimes y'all cannot care about that. Y'all cannot care about having to be expressive of your knowledge and wisdom or whatnot. A lot of times, Aquarius, you guys could feel like you're only going to express yourself if it makes sense, if it could be used or something. But for the most part, you guys being more expressive of your knowledge and wisdom is going to just open up opportunities for y'all to, you know, develop the reality that you guys are seeking, okay? All right, and last but never least, let's emphasize that, my Pisces, my beloved Pisces, all right? And the influence here is seeing new ways to manifest a new reality from your creative attributes and your personal wisdom. So you guys are already naturally creative and naturally spiritual. You know, you got that water influence with Jupiter and Neptune out that 12th house. You guys are always tapping into your subconscious and seeing how things subconsciously play out with personal issues on a literal, practical level, but also subconsciously with your dreams and imaginations. And you guys are down. At times you could crave to be able to relate that, connect that with others, all right? Pisces, it's time to build some structure and stability off of that. It's time to pay some bills off of that. It's time to make that something you can rely on, something that has some foundation, okay? Pisces, if you got to put a price on your spiritual gifts, this is what it is, because we come in here with all these type of gifts. We come in here with all these type of energies to be placed in positions to help enlighten others with their creative gifts. So it's not even about a lot of us healers, spiritualists, teachers, or whatnot, or people that just have a real sacred connection with what is it that they're creatively into. You guys gotta understand, you know, we're all here to, you know, expand humanity and help grow the awareness of you know, the collective. And a lot of you Pisces, you know, the ways you guys deal with your creative endeavors or whatnot, you guys could be examples of how other people could deal with certain energies, especially things that they experience with the feelings, emotions, because you guys have a whole bunch of wisdom on that. So you guys just have to be more expressive and embrace, all right, being able to look at something that you're dealing with on a spiritual, creative level and see how it could continue to build more of a foundation and bring stability in your life. All right, how it could be a business, how it could be something to represent yourself, how it could be a form of reality for you, how it could be a form of structure. All right, I don't want to say form of reality, because I don't want to say your spirituality can't be your reality that you look at as your form of structure, but more so, you know, using it as more of a foundation to rely on in this new physical reality, this new transformation and shift that we're dealing with. All right, family. So I hope this gave y'all more of an awareness of what exactly we dealing with this great conjunction. All right, coming up on December 21st and all that. I'm gonna find a day within these next couple of days to live stream this energy transiting the houses, but I just wanted to make sure I get them signs out there for y'all so we can start to spiritually prep for this energy. So y'all already know what it is, family. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new and all that, make sure you sub and all that so you can continue to build with the kid. Make sure y'all check out the Patreon and all that, where we dive deeper on all esoteric and astrology content. And until next time, family,